So recently I got to attend the Forbes 30 Under 30 conference where I got to network with some like the most ambitious, high-achieving entrepreneurs in the business world. And during this time at the conference, my friends kept asking me, yo Alif, how are you able to just work your way around networking with all these people, getting them to like you, open up to you, give you all these opportunities? Like, how do you seem so natural at it? And I thought to myself, yo, if you're struggling with this, then that means there are other people out there also struggling with the same thing. So here I am making this video to help you if you struggle with networking. So first I want to talk about the mindset of networking. I was talking to my friend at this conference and they were like, hey, I'm struggling to connect with people here at this conference. And I'm like, why? Because I have nothing to say. Why? Because I think I'm boring. But wait, tell me why. And they're like, I just feel like I'm not interesting as a person and therefore I have nothing interesting to say to the other person. And I told her these specific points. First, you are only as boring as you perceive yourself to be. So if you think you're boring, other people are gonna think you're boring as well. Second, it's not about what you say, but instead it's about how you say this. You can be in the most boring profession ever. Let's say painting walls. And someone comes up to you and they're like, yo, what do you do? And you're like, paint walls and like, you know, it's whatever. Or like, what do you do, right? You're gonna come off as boring. But if you're like, I paint walls and I love colors and how colors complement a room, and I love how when I paint, it feels like I'm in like a meditative space, it's amazing. How you say it is more important than what you say if you want to come off as interesting. And lastly to this point, what can be boring to you can be the most interesting thing for the other person. So for example, I made a vlog on my YouTube channel about day in the life of a digital marketing specialist. And what's interesting is, yo, for me, I was like, this vlog is like kind of just like the monotonous day to day that I generally go through on a frequent basis, right? This is just the boring stuff for me. But in the comments of that video, people kept telling me, yo, you are living the life. This is so interesting. Thank you for explaining this. And I realized what's boring to me can be the most interesting thing for this other person. So who am I to judge what they think is boring? Like, who am I to do that? Next, so at this conference, I have a friend. My friend was telling me, yo, these people are very technical and I'm not technical, and therefore I get bored of our conversations and I don't want to keep talking with them. In fact, I want to end my conversations with these people. And I'm like, why? Tell me more. And they're like, you know, they're into tech, they're into startups, they're into developing, and I'm just into like content and community and public speaking. This is not my world. So I just want to get out of this conversation. Then I'm like to him, and I called him out. I'm like, yo, why don't you just talk about things you want to talk about instead? Like, why do you have to follow their lead on the conversation? Why don't you make the lead? And he was like, okay, so how do I do that? And I told him, literally ask them, so outside of work, what do you like to do? And then they're gonna be like, oh, I love dancing. Oh, cool, I danced too in this past life of mine when I was in high school. Now the topic of conversation becomes something that you're actually interested in, instead of forcing yourself to go through this like grungy, dragging like small talk. So if you want to have a fun conversation, talk about things you're actually interested in, and therefore your energy, your presence is going to be much more upbeat, and the other person will really enjoy talking with you. All right, so now that we got over like the mindset of how to kind of think about networking, how to like, you know, get over the imposter syndrome, all that stuff, let's talk about the tactics, okay? So before you attend a networking event or a conference like this, you'll want to create your own elevator pitch. Now, I know what you're thinking, boring elevator pitch. Oh my God, these career coaches are making me do an elevator pitch. But here's what I realized. When I follow those like career coaches, and you know, when I used to work at the business school at the Career Development Center, and they always told me to make like a elevator pitch and follow this when you go to a networking event with Deloitte and all these things. I found that it didn't really help me as much, because I always felt like I had to follow a very strict script, and then in person, when I'm talking to the person and they're like, what do you do? And now it's time for my elevator pitch, I struggled because I'm like, okay, I have to say this, and every time I tried to execute on that script, I always messed up. I got more nervous, and the other person was like, yo, what are you talking about? And they can tell that I didn't have any idea what I was talking about. So when I say an elevator pitch, just have a small idea of what you're gonna say that generally describes you. For example, at this conference, my elevator pitch was, hey, yeah, so my name is Alif. I do freelance email marketing. I help my clients get more conversions through their email, and on the side, I love hip hop dancing. Boom, very simple, very easy, nothing too crazy. It feels authentic, people can relate. And on top of that, I included something fun that the person can be like, oh, hip hop dancing, yeah, my daughter did that, or I did that back in the day, right? It's a good way to open a conversation. All right, so now that we got that covered, let's talk about when you're on the field. Let's say you're at the event. How do you go about networking when you're crowded with all these people? Like, what do you do? How do you open a conversation? Let's get into the nitty gritty. All right, first things first. When I go into a networking event, I'm walking around with, straight posture. This is gonna sound dumb, but like, trust me on this. Straight posture, upbeat, smile, and then look at people as you walk through. Look and look and look. Just literally look at their eyes and try to lock eyes with someone. It's funny, when I described this to my friend, she was like, whoa, that's intense. And the way I described it was kind of like intense because I was like, yo, when I'm at these events, I'm a vulture, yo. I look around and hunt for my prey. Whenever someone makes an eye contact with me, they're locked in with me, and now I'm in a conversation. That's how I described it, which is probably not the best thing to do, I realize. Anyways, and the second someone makes more than 3 seconds of eye contact with you, you go in with a handshake. You just go right in. Hey, what's going on? I'm Leaf. What's your name? That's it. Walk around, eye contact. Hey, what's going on? My name's Leaf. What's your name? Now, when you're in this conversation, what I noticed works really good for me is start off with a compliment or some sort of observation about them. For example, and this might be a little extreme, at the conference, there was this guy who I swear to God looked like Miguel. You know the singer Miguel? Yeah, Miguel. He looked like him. And so I'm like, oh my God, I gotta ask him, like, does he get it often where like people ask him if he looks like Miguel? You know what I mean? This guy comes up to me, right? He's coming up around and I'm like doing my regular thing, welcome, straight back, a smile, and I make the eye contact, and the eye contact lasts for more than 3 seconds. I'm like, perfect, my way in. Hey, what's going on? My name's Leaf. Oh, I'm Alex, what's up? And I'm like, hey man, can I ask you a personal question? Yeah, what's up? And I'm like, all right, I gotta go in. Has anyone told you you look like Miguel? And then he's like, dude, I can't tell you how many times people have told me that. And we both laughed. It was great. It like took down a lot of walls, and it just felt like an informal conversation from there. And I ended up becoming really good friends with the person. You don't have to go as complicated as telling someone they look like a singer, because that might get a little too personal. But simple things like, hey, I love your tie. Hey, I like your dress. Hey, I like your haircut. Simple compliments or observations like that is a great way to start a conversation. Okay, so now at this point, we have introduced ourselves. We made eye contact. We're in the conversation. How do you handle a conversation with these type of people? Here's what I'll tell you. You want to talk 20% of the time, and they talk 80% of the time. What's interesting is, so I was at the event, right? I was with my friend Ahmed, and then there was 2 other guys. And I was asking questions and listening in on the 2 other guys. And what's funny is once we were done speaking with the 2 other guys, it was just me and Ahmed alone. Ahmed was like to me, hey, you have this intense focus on what the person is saying with this immense eye contact that really makes them feel like they're being heard. How do you do it? And I realized in the moment, I thought everyone did this, but it seems like this is unique. And the more conversations I observed, I realized, this is unique. Let me teach this to people. So this is how I want you to handle a conversation at a networking event. You go in, do the compliment, and they start talking about things, right? What you want to do is don't break eye contact. Trust me. I was talking with one guy, he kept breaking eye contact. I was just kind of annoyed with the guy. But it's going to be a little different. You make eye contact, you nod, you smile, and you say, interesting, haha, laugh at his jokes. These little subtle cues will get you a long way and will make the other person feel like they're really, really heard. Yo, and if you're enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter where I share with you weekly marketing, mindset, and career advice sent directly to your inbox that I do not share anywhere else except my newsletter. So down below in the description, be sure to subscribe to that, my friend. Back to the video. What you want to do is just genuinely be curious about what they speak about and what they do. So I met this guy who works at MIT. He's a scientist, and his job is to make literally a sun. So you can imagine how curious I was. I couldn't stop asking the guy questions, poor him, and I was just so insanely focused. I'm like, whoa, then how do you know this? How do you do this, right? And what you want to do is just lead by genuine curiosity. And what that'll do is it'll make the other person feel like they're heard, but on top of that, when you lead by genuine curiosity, you're gonna ask smarter questions. And when you ask smart questions, it'll make you look like you have a unique perspective to this world that they're gonna respect you more with. So again, lead with curiosity, ask really good questions, and talk 20% of the time, let the other person talk 80% of the time. When they ask you, what do you do? Then you kind of blur out about what you do and everything. Go with the flow. Don't have an agenda for the conversation, and genuinely be present in the moment instead of thinking about, oh, I have to go to this and I wonder how long this conversation is gonna take. Don't worry about all that. All right, cool. So now my friend, I feel like, you ever watch the guy on YouTube, like Alpha M, where I'm just like walking in like this? So gentlemen, let me tell you about this. Gentlemen, let me tell you. You ever watch that guy? I feel like him right now. And I kind of get why he does that. I think this is gonna be my new intro. Like walk, intense, like turn to the side, and then focus on the camera. So now that you're in a conversation, now you're like, okay, I want to end this conversation. How do I do it without offending them? And these are two tactics that I like to do, okay? So when you're in conversation with them, you notice the conversation kind of dulling down. This is what I love to do. Hey, awesome. It seems like you do a lot of good things. If you're okay with it, I'd love to stay connected with you. Do you have LinkedIn? And they'll be like, yeah, I have LinkedIn. Then I'll usually pull LinkedIn on my phone, give them my phone to type in their LinkedIn, and connect with them. And then you say simply, well, thank you so much for this great conversation. I honestly learned a lot. I'll catch you around the event. Is that cool with you? Yes, that is cool with me. Awesome, you both split ways, and now you are good. Another way I like to do this is, when I'm just kind of like done with the conversation, I like to say like, well, awesome, it was great chatting with you. I'm just gonna walk around and do some more networking. Is that cool with you, man? Yeah, that's cool with me. Awesome. Do you have LinkedIn? And then go for the LinkedIn. And then you politely excuse yourself and walk around, making eye contact, repeat, rinse, and repeat, rinse, repeat, and rinse. And there you have it, my Alif's ultimate guide to networking. If you enjoy, I'm gonna repeat that. And there you have it, Alif's ultimate guide to networking. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to this channel, follow me on social media, and last but not least, subscribe to my newsletter if you want more exclusive content that isn't shared anywhere else. I will see you, my friend, in the next video. Peace, peace, peace.